Good afternoon, and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11, and you can find me on X at Razzle11grinds. Going to take a look at the pitching and the overall matchup for today, the 12th of October. It is Sunday. We do have the first game of the ALCS ahead of us this evening. And towards the end of the video, I will try to touch on the two-game slate with tonight's game and then tomorrow's Game 1 of the NLCS. I will be looking at DraftKings, as that is where a majority of my action is. Most of the conversation can be poured over into FanDuel. You just don't use pitching in showdown slates over there. But for like a two-gamer, I'm not even sure if they have a two-gamer, but pitching should ultimately be the same. We're really not focusing on a quality start bonus, even though it probably puts more emphasis on the guys that would acquire that bonus, like Gausman and Blake Snell, probably. But yeah, we're just going to jump into thoughts in this situation or this matchup between Seattle and Toronto tonight. We Kevin Gausman making the start for Toronto. Seattle just had to play a backs up against the wall series. Long game on Friday night before then flying east. I don't really love the spot for Seattle. And Gausman, full rest plus a couple days. Last pitched 8 days ago. Looked pretty good against the Yankees. Strikeouts weren't really there, but still looked pretty good. One start against Seattle this year wasn't the greatest, but his overall numbers just really strong. He's better on the road, but his K numbers are better at home. He's giving up a home run every, 9-ish innings, 9.5 innings. So his home run rates aren't all that bad at this point. They are worse at home, but still. I'm not too worried about Gausman. Obviously, Seattle, dangerous opponent. But I think Gausman sees a normal start here. 7-game series. They can't really just burn out the bullpen immediately. I expect a normal start for Gausman. On the other side, Bryce Miller. This one, I don't know if we're going to get a normal start. He did just pitch 4 days ago. 3 days of rest, 55 pitches. Probably some sort of abbreviated start. Not ideal considering Seattle just blew through their bullpen. Obviously, there's some rest, but they still used a bunch of arms. It wouldn't shock me if we saw somebody like Emerson Hancock piggyback Bryce Miller. I'm not sure. I haven't looked and noticed the Seattle roster for the series. I know he was on the roster last series, so it's certainly possible. It's tough to get behind Bryce Miller in a matchup with a Toronto team that just doesn't strike out. He's allowing a home run every about 5.5 innings. So it's less than ideal. Not a big K guy anyways, so he did struggle against Toronto the first time he faced them. Gave up a bunch of runs, ton of base runners, etc. Just not going to get there on Bryce Miller. So that kind of puts it in the thinking that Toronto's in the best spot for Game 1. What does that mean for us as far as who we're looking at using? Bryce Miller split-wise. Trying to bring it up on my other monitor. More power to left-handed bats than right-handed bats. Better average against him by right-handed bats. But overall, fairly standard splits. Nothing too extreme. Much better K rate against right-handed bats. That obviously can be a positive for him in this one, but probably puts guys like Varsho near the top of the list for me. Just at first look. I haven't dug into any pitch profiling or anything, but Varsho, Edison Barger, two guys that I think are in some pretty solid spots. Nathan Lucas had 2 strong games. The 2 games he started in this Yankee series put up double-digit DK points, driving in 5 runs in those 2 games. Probably is in the 2-hole. Wasn't sure what their roster was going to look like, but Bichette ended up being left off the roster. So that probably creates more time for Lucas. Probably should be in the 2-hole tonight. Excellent value, 5,800 for me. On the other side, with Gausman, big pitch is the split. Not sure how Seattle fares against the splitter, so that's one I will dig into. But guys like Arozarena have hit him well. Naylor's pretty decent. Suarez has hit him decently. Cal Raleigh, a bunch of home runs against him. 3 of them in 16 plate appearances. So his overall splits, pretty reverse splitsy from an average, on base and I guess power standpoint. Definitely more power to right-handed bats. A higher strikeout rate for right-handed bats as well. But that just tells me that there's a lot of lefties that kind of roll over. Probably hit one hoppers to the second baseman, first baseman on that splitter, etc. So slight lean to right-handed bats for Seattle, but Cal Raleigh has done a ton of damage against Kevin Gausman. So that shouldn't surprise anybody. But maybe it's a spot for J-Rod to wake up. Rosarena's been fairly silent, so maybe it's him. Suarez and his power coming into play did not look good at all in the Detroit series. So that's something to pay attention to in this one. Seattle relief, it's so tough to look at their pitching because so many guys were used in that series. We'll have to pay attention to see if they added any fresh arms. I don't think, Gabe Spire will probably be used, but probably not as big a spots as he was in Detroit. So for now, I'm just not sure I can get to any Mariners relief pitchers in this spot. Munoz, the closer, certainly going to be in play if you think that they win. Matt Brash, he's got plenty of upside. Probably has enough in him to pick up strikeouts. He's pretty strong in that one appearance versus Toronto. But aside from that, nothing I really want to trust in this scenario. Emerson Hancock being maybe the one that could see some innings, but that's just a dart throw, and he's so expensive that just doesn't intrigue me enough in this spot. Toronto's bullpen, fairly rested, etc. Yario Rodriguez is getting the ball a decent amount back-to-back games. He hasn't shown the strikeout upside in the postseason, so he's just whatever. Fluharty, he's fine, but Cal Raleigh being a switch hitter, sandwiched by Arozarena and J-Rod, it's tough to get to left-handed pitchers for Toronto. Brendan Little's probably their best left-handed pitcher, but I don't think he's going to be needed. Varland keeps getting trusted. He pitched in 4 of the Yankees games. 1 bad game. So he's probably somebody that sees the mound. And then Hoffman being their closer if you think that Toronto wins a closer game. Dominguez isn't bad. Did pick up a win in this one, but for me it'd be Varland and then Hoffman on the closing side of things. Switching over to this 2-gamer, we talked about my thoughts on Seattle, Toronto. I do like Gausman. Probably makes a ton of sense as pitcher paired with Blake Snell. I really don't have much interest in Jose Quintana. He's probably fine and worth maybe a dart. If you're MMEing, he'd be just my 3rd favorite pitcher in this scenario. Dodgers, to me, make a ton of sense. Toronto, a minus 165 favorite in theirs. The Dodgers are minus 160 road favorites. So being on the road is definitely a very interesting thing to be able to use the Dodger bats. Blake Snell has had some struggles on the road, but his walk rate drops down. So there's a trade-off. K rate isn't as strong, but it's still pretty good. And we know how dominant Blake Snell can be. Milwaukee's not a pushover matchup for him. So it'll be tough. They can battle. But I think Snell is clearly the highest upside pitcher on the slate. Probably just falls to the number 2 spot for me behind Gausman. Just because I think it's a decent spot for Gausman. That obviously could change once I dig into the pitch profiling. That splitter, like I mentioned earlier, is going to make or break a lot of the matchup for me in things that I look at. The Milwaukee side, Churio can mash left-handed pitching. Contreras has been really strong. Andrew Vaughn hitting a bunch of home runs off of lefties. It'd be those three guys as the main ones. Turang in a left on left isn't bad. Yelich isn't bad. And I think Blake Perkins has been all right as well. But I think I prefer Perkins against right-handed pitching this season. So, not the perfect spot by any means. Brewers against Blake Snell. Nobody's really done anything at all. 14 strikeouts in 38 plate appearances. Pretty strong K rate for Blake Snell. Quintana against the Dodgers. I'm not really sure. I just don't want to ever trust Quintana to do anything. I think he just allows too much contact for this matchup. Mookie's been decent. Kike Hernandez, decent. Shohei, 2 for 6 with 2 home runs and 3 walks. Max Muncy, just 2 for 9, but a home run and 6 walks. The one surprising one is Teoscar's over 8 with 2 strikeouts against him. So, but yeah, to me, it's a Toronto-LA combination as my main one. 2-game slate, I'm not necessarily full 5-man stacking. More of like a 4-2-2, 3-3-2, that sort of 3-3-1-1, something like that. Makes a lot of sense for me. But there we have it. There's our first look at the Sunday action, and then talking a little bit about the Monday game for the 2-game slate. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., I will put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. And I will drop the link to our merch store. You can check out my hoodie design, some of the other options. The hoodies are extremely comfortable. So definitely check those out. And as always, best of luck, everybody.